You will not get everything that you want all the time. But of course, go for what you want. And those days that it's not like that, go with the flow. Go for the specific things that you want, but those days that they're not available because they will not always be available, life goes on.
It just has to be clear that I am me and it's okay to be me. And also that me is not everybody.
Hello, dear friend and fellow learner. If you've ever been curious as to why people do what they do, as to what governs their behaviors, and what motivates them to act a certain way towards you, then this conversation is for you. We begin by addressing the human needs. And in this conversation, we address the first 4 of them, as there are 6. And the next conversation will continue. But very rich. We're so happy that you're here. We know you're going to get a ton of value from this. So enjoy and stay tuned for the next one.
Here we go. As Ben told you earlier today, we are talking about human behavior. And we will have a distinct flow of the conversation. We'll first talk about human needs. Then we'll go through the tension between human needs because they have a tension between them, our observation of them. I don't know what Ben will think of those things. We'll discuss at some point fulfillment because at the end of the day, it's what we look for really when it comes to managing a life of value. And then we can end with a higher understanding of behavior and maybe some applications, depending on how the conversation go.
All right.
Right? So today, I thought I want to do something different. Here is the question that is being attacked today in general. Do we really choose our actions or are we mostly driven by unconscious needs and fears?
I did not see this coming, so this is interesting.
That was on purpose.
Are we primarily led by? How did you phrase that?
Do we really choose our actions
Yeah.
or are we mostly driven by unconscious needs and fears as human beings?
We have needs and fears,
Yes.
and I believe that at the core, they're tied to our actions are tied to one of those needs and fears. You know, because the framework that we've come to embrace and to understand, there's many frameworks out there for many things. And this one that we're about to discuss today, just to me, it's very fulfilling. It makes sense. I understand it. And I'm sure that you can research many other books and many other frameworks. But my answer to that question would be, if you analyze the various behaviors of people, you can tie them to one of the needs that they have. So in that way, there's an interplay between the two of them. We're not some computer robots who are predestined to behave a certain way, but our behavior can be tied to one of those parameters. That's what I would say.
Clearly, you are studying in this domain. Obviously, you think that way. Okay. No, I was thinking about this as a random person, who has never encountered this information that we're going to share today. And as they're thinking about this, randomly, there is this sense that we desire as human beings or having the free will to choose. That we are deciding what we want. That the action we are making is because we are choosing them. But in reality, if you're among the people who really do not understand, who is not aware, that usually behavior is tied to human needs, for example, then at the end of the day, you are a slave of the need you are mostly aligned with. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think, and life would be too exhausting if you had to be ultra intentional every moment to think about every need. I mean, we have to have some level of autopilot, if I can put it that way.
Yes.
I don't want to pontificate, think too deeply. If I need a glass of water, if I need to do this, if I need to go do things, and I do believe as well, and I think our conversation will lead there to some degree, that if you're not aware of the needs that are out there, or of what makes up the human that we are, you are likely to just end up living like an animal, at the mercy of your instincts, engaging in behaviors that you don't really understand, doing certain things, falling into certain patterns. The patterns are not bad in and of themselves, but if you can be mapped out fully, that I know that you're going to be behaving this way based on this stimulus. You're going to do certain things based on, how certain things happen in your life, then that is an issue in that way. So,
That brings up something very important. I mean, there's a lot of things we're going to be discussing as the time comes. Why is it important for us to talk about human behavior anyway? Why would you say that this is something important to discuss, something that adds value, something that has affected your life? What would you say?
I would say that I hope you watching this have. I guess I think it's not impossible. But it'd be really hard to not have relationships, to not deal with other people. All of us are called to some degree. I think maybe somebody's watching this, maybe on some mountain somewhere in Tibet. I don't know.
They're not
But-
watching if they're or they want to watch it.
My point is, you are likely to have friends. You're likely to have a mother and father and sisters and co-workers, whatever it is.
Yes.
And it is unbelievably frustrating to not have a clue as to why people may behave a certain way. This right here that we're about to talk about in no way guarantees that you become a behavior analyst, master or anything like that. But
I know I'm not.
but it gives you a sense of understanding.
Yes.
Why is it? What is a very high likely reason somebody might might do a certain thing, and as a result, you find yourself less frustrated. You find yourself less angry. You find yourself more patient, more tolerant towards the people around you, and I believe that is worthwhile.
Yes.
That's for the sake of your own peace, but also the way that you present yourself to others, the way that you show up for others. So.
There's a lot of community of the way you see it, the way I see it. But here is me wording it differently on my point of view on it. And when it comes to the reason when you're supposed to, it's helpful to learn behavior, to just have a peaceful life, is because, we interact with other people. That it is possible to live life without interacting with other people at different levels. So, if is having a rich life with your spouse, the disadvantages is knowing the kind of the human behavior they lean to. We're going to talk about that coming up. It's important to know that. If, for example, you're a salesman and you want to sell things, it is helpful for your craft to understand human behavior. Understanding what drives people, what pushes them, what they desire, what they want. Important. So, at the end of the day, in our channel, we are trying to uncover for ourselves best principle to have the most successful life in a whole sense that we can. And I believe that this plays an important role. So that's why we are breaking it down, really. It's because behavior is necessary in the interaction among humans. That's something that we do among us. And if we're going to interact with ourselves, with our children, with people at work, and do it in a manner that absolutely serves us and pushes us forward, then we must understand human behavior. Because if we don't understand human behavior, we're going to be frustrated.
We tend to, I guess here I'm gonna use need and want kind of interchangeably in that way. That I have to have a motive to do something, consciously or subconsciously. There has to be a driving force behind it. That way of thinking just makes sense to me, because otherwise things are arising from nothing. There has to be some sort of a driving force pushing my actions, if that makes sense. So from that perspective, I didn't feel a need to challenge it within me. My critical thinking was satisfied by that. Okay, there's a driving force. There is a first cause that causes something else to happen, and so on and so forth. So from that perspective, no. So we have certain forces in us that we call needs, and that we're going to discuss. And then based on our affinity to some of them, we tend to behave in a particular way compared to others.
I guess I'm naturally more skeptical, because the first time I heard this, and that was a while ago, and even lately, there's one thing I was like, how can these people boil all humans into 6 needs? What is this? I guess that talks about my view of myself as separate in some way. But I struggle with the idea that every need that we have as human beings, in general, can be boiled down into a classification of 6 needs. And I thought that was not accurate. But it took me a while, but I tried to challenge myself to find a need that could not be found in that area, and I couldn't. I couldn't at all. That did not bother you at all that they told you that it was just 6 needs. All humans, we have 6 needs, really.
I guess, as I said earlier, to me, I understand that life in general, I will try to not get too deep unnecessarily here. Life is too complex.
Yes.
And we know very little about the fabric of the whole thing. We are just experiencing this life that we don't even fully understand. And all that we can do, all that we can do is have the most usable explanations that we have. All we can do is come up with explanations to the best of our ability, enough that we have utility from them, that are useful to us. So from that perspective, I've already given up the notion that we're going to reach the truth, if that makes sense. So if you're able to give me a framework, a theory that is 95% complete, I'll ride with it.
So
You know,
basically, for you, this
spending-
was satisfying enough.
Yeah, spending the rest of my life trying to accomplish that last 5%. I only have 100 years on this earth or whatever it is. Let me have an approximation of reality. And this one is as good an approximation as I've seen amongst other frameworks for me. That's the way that I look at it.
We're talking about approximation of reality. In this approximation of reality, we are discussing human behavior, and we are saying that human behavior are driven by human needs. And there is 6 human needs that drive all human behaviors. Let's talk about these human
This
needs.
framework, yeah.
Let's talk about them, Ben.
I'm going to start with the need for certainty. We all have in us a need for certainty. And another way that I use to understand that is safety, guarantees. We all want to know that, if I'm seated on this chair right now, I have to have a certain level of belief or confidence that the chair is not going to collapse. And then I'm
Yes.
going to hurt my knees or hurt my ankle or anything like that. That is why before I sit on the chair, you go around and you look to make sure, okay, the structure is good. So that right there demonstrates my need for certainty in that way. Another example, to make it short, many of you out there, chances are the person you watching this have a job. Probably. Chances are you have a job. And jobs are so useful, so important because they give you that guarantee. You know that on the 1st of every month or the 1st or the 15th, you're going to get a paycheck. You know exactly what that paycheck is going to be like. That's why you can plan on it before it's even in your hands because of that certainty. And that is a very valuable thing. As human beings, we want that. I want to know that my children are going to be safe when they go to school. I want to know that I'm not going to get any crazy surprises going to my dentist. I'm here for you to remove my teeth. If they knock me out, I wake up, I'm losing a hand. That is a crazy lawsuit that's going to befall them. And that's going to be the least of the problems. But that's my point. We have a need for certainty. A need for us to kind of predict life a little bit. But
I mean, I agree. I mean, there is no much far to go about that. So the need for certainty is important, even though sometimes it goes too far, But it is true. All of us make a lot of decisions based on certainty. There are people who would they go to a restaurant, certainty people, not my kind of people. They go to the restaurant, discover the thing that they like in that restaurant, and that is the only thing they will order in that restaurant. Why? Because they know I took the time, I'm putting my money on the line, and guess what? I don't want to risk it.
you can see, based on the quality of somebody's life, that if your life is predicated on certainty, that is the driving force behind your life. You wake up and you want to have as predictable a life as possible. Go to the same restaurants, eat the same things. You want for life to already tell you ahead of time the signs. Okay, you're about to go through this. You're about to do this. It leads to unbelievable frustration. Unbelievable. Frustration is the right word.
Boredom.
Yes, boredom and frustration as well, because you will realize quickly enough that you cannot tame life. So yeah.
Yes. So when it comes to this, the need for certainty, there's 2 things I wanted to observe about it. First is you and I, we've had this awareness for quite a while. How has this awareness changed our life for the positive? And secondly, right now, people who are watching who have never encountered these ideas, that their behavior is driven by certain needs, and there might be a person who really needs or needs for certainty.
If you are able to get to a point where you just accept, and this one is, you don't have a choice.
Yes.
Either you accept how life is by design, or you're fighting life, which is a pointless endeavor. You're gonna lose every time. So by accepting
Yes.
something that you cannot change, right? By accepting that this is how life is, all of a sudden your expectations are changing. Because we made a point in one of our recent conversations that it's not the event of life that bother people, it's their judgment of them. So by accepting that life is uncertain, you're addressing the issue of judging life. Life is bad, life is sad, life is
Yes.
this, life is that. Life is just uncertain. So you accept that from the beginning. You just go through life knowing that, you know what, I'm going to work today. Chances are I will have surprises. I cannot control if I can get there on time because there could be traffic, there could be this, there could be that. By having that already ahead of time, and then you encounter some event, pleasant or unpleasant, you are less likely, I would argue, to make a fuss about it, to have your inner world be disrupted or disturbed by it. You're
Yes.
like, okay, life happens, it goes on. If it's unpleasant, okay, fine, it's unpleasant. We'll move on. So that's the way that I would say is positive by accepting that notion.
Yes, that together with the adjustment of perspective, uh, I think this is one of the most life-changing things that I've adopted over the years.
The what?
That I have a need for certainty at times, and that's why I feel discomfort when things are not predictable. So just the awareness of, or it is normal that I'm a bit disturbed or I'm a bit uh, unhappy about situation because I have had an expectation. The need for certainty kind of creates certain expectation for situations that are not actually predictable. You know. So and when you say life, what is life? Life is other people, the people you work with. Life is the people that drive on the road with you. Yeah. So when you carry this understanding, yes, I have an expectation that when I'm driving on the road, somebody is not going to cut on my lane and hit me. That is a reasonable expectation to have. And then when reasonable expectations are violated, now there is a response to it. And the response to it is because we have this expectation of certainty in this area. And now you are frustrated, you are angry. But when this latent awareness that in reality there is no really certainty. There is nothing I can do about it. I must adjust sometimes. So when these things happen, I just learn to know, oh, I mean, expect the unexpected. It happened, I move on. You know, that will be it for me. It made me experience the world with much less stress.
Negative, really, simply, it's just really the opposite of that. If you are to be stubborn about, I will find certainty where there is none, you're fighting, you're basically going to war against an opponent whose might is insurmountable. You cannot conquer life. All of us have to deal with this aspect of life. You'll encounter too many. So you'd be expecting for things to go a certain way and constantly being disappointed. By insisting on the fact that there was going to be certainty. I'm going to plan everything out, and I am also this particular one was also impactful in my life because I'm naturally somebody who plans. I'm a weird mix of another need that we're going to talk about next, and also wanting to be structured and organized in a way that I can, in some shape, in some form, predict the next steps, only to find out that okay, I cannot schedule every 15 minutes of my life. That there was a time in my life that was a goal that I was going for, to be so accountable for my time that at the end of the day I could tell, okay, I was wasteful here, I was wasteful there. I can optimize this, but you end up being so disappointed all the time.
Leading to frustration left and right.
All the time. So, in short, the negative side of insisting on life being caged and being certain is that, well, be ready for a life of disappointment. It's going to be constant, unrelenting disappointment. Yeah.
There's a nuance there that I wanted to talk about regarding the negative you've already talked about. You left 2 job options, for example. And you desire something different. You desire to see the world, for example. You want to see the world. That is a deep desire in you. But you get a job that will tell you, okay, this is a contracted job. You know, you're going to work contract by contract. Sometimes there'll be no contract, you might sit. But this job is going to take you all over the world. And then there's another job. Oh, yeah, this is an office job. Pays about the same. You know, you're going to stay there. This check is going to come in consistently. You're going to have health benefits. So now, sometimes these needs that we have, if you lean toward the need for certainty, kind of competes with your desire for life, your vision for your long-term goals. You can compete for it because I don't know if the needs are a matter of personality or a matter of culture or a matter of environment where you grow up. I don't know what pushes people to have to lean toward the need or another. But you see, somebody who has a need for certainty, they will have this list with the pros and the cons. And on these pros and cons list, a lot of the things there are just tailored to give them security, knowing that tomorrow will be safe. So, though really what will fulfill them, what will give them the joy and what they want in life is to see the world, they will say, you know what, I'm going to wait for another job that will help me see the world while giving me the complete security that I need. Well, they could have been enjoying their goal right now. So they just decided, I'm going to take the job that I really like much less, that pushes me, that takes me further for my ultimate goal. Just simply, it is more safe. And it comes in many areas of life, even the people you date. You try to realize, you know what? I like that guy, but he's a bit wild. This is why he's Mr. Dependable. You know, I like him much less. He offers much less of what I want in a man, but I can expect that it's going to be the same thing every time. When you look back at your life and all decisions you've made that have led you into this middle age where you're completely satisfied, are simply a series of decisions you made to satisfy your need for certainty. So you sacrifice a lot of what you want and what you truly desire and what will fulfill you in exchange to get this feeling of being, certain that everything will be okay. And then, surprise, surprise, it doesn't work out that way because life is not certain. But anyways, if you're that kind of person, just audit your life a little bit. Say, am I living the life that I want? Am I going through life activating a sequence that leads me to the goal I have for myself? Or am I just taking compromises with every step to satisfy a need that I might not have been aware of?
Yeah, the need for uncertainty, the need for variety. Another one that we all have in some capacity or another, some of us more than others.
Yes.
We have this phrase that there are some people that we know as adrenaline junkies. You know, those guys who just want to do all these things that seem wild and crazy, jump off airplanes and just cannot sit still. They have to combat boredom. That is one of those clues that this person really needs variety. That you want to go to a restaurant and try something you've never tried, and that is me. You know, you want to have experiences that that you've never had, and that's me. To me, if I've already experienced something once, let me experience something different. You know, not because the first one was bad or anything, but it's one of those ways to soak in life a little bit more for people like me. So we talked about the need for certainty, and this one's the need for uncertainty, the need for variety. Just wanting more variety out of life.
There is always another side of the coin. They are always seeking for balance. That's why all these cultures go in search of this yin and yang. You see a version of that in Africa. The universe is really that way. The human soul is fickle. How can the same soul have a almost paralyzing need for certainty, at the same time, in some extent, have also a paralyzing need for certainty?
What's that game the kids play? Where weight is balanced on one side.
A seesaw.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That we tend to find ourselves on one. It's a spectrum. You know, everything is a spectrum. You can be leaning all the way on one side, and you're overweighing certainty versus uncertainty, and we tend to find ourselves somewhere along that path. And naturally, our instinct would guide us to think that you have to be right in the middle, which
Yes.
is it's not maybe not part of this conversation, but I never viewed it as, it goes from area to areas of our lives, more of a conglomerate in general, that people tend to if left to themselves, to their own devices, they would tend to choose more certain options as opposed to uncertain options. So I guess I kind of generalized it.
Actually, I disagree.
Yeah.
Because I think that there are people who they will tend to lean to uncertain options.
Yeah.
In many areas in my life, I prefer certain options.
But then we agree.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I didn't understand you.
Yeah. I mean that you have that seesaw, that plank that you can walk along. And people in general, obviously, if you go to the specifics, things are unpredictable. But in general, people who are leaning more towards uncertainty, most of their choices in life, across
I see what
most
you
of
mean.
their life,
Okay.
will lean toward uncertain things versus
Yes.
certain
Okay. I
things.
see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Okay. And I thought you were talking about people in general prefer certainty
Oh,
over
no.
uncertainty. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know why I thought that. Yeah. Anyways, uncertainty, the need for certainty is actually a need that we have, and it's a reasonable need. Really. Because if life was repetitive, it would be unlivable, at least for me. And you know yourself. I know I'm a kind of person who leans toward certainty in everything. I hate to be constrained by being too prepared, because then I feel like it leaves me unprepared or unable to be flexible. A strange thing, because I was thinking to myself, why do I need like constraints? Like, for example, this is a new constraint for me. It's the kind of constraint I don't like, but it's useful because it keeps us organized. It keeps the game organized. But I would prefer to be more free, so that if, as we are talking, for example, a monster came off of the ground, I can now move freely and discuss the monster, not to wonder what is my card saying. And that goes almost in many areas of my life. The way I work, some people like a schedule. Today at 2, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. No, 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 no. I don't like that. The best I can do is prepare the task for the day and make sure that I have 3 to 4 tasks that must be done that day, and give myself the freedom to do more. So that gives you a kind of person that is leaned toward certainty.
Our teacher said something staggering. Peter Sage,
Yes.
when he taught us this, and he also credits Tony Robbins for the statement that the quality of your life is in direct proportion to your capacity to handle uncertainty. So I've paraphrased a little bit, but basically what it says is
It was almost verbatim, man.
basically what he says is
Yes.
if somebody who's able to accept and welcome uncertainty, as we discussed, as you can see, these points are very tightly connected. I mean, uncertainty and
Yes.
certainty. Somebody who is comfortable in uncertainty, because life is uncertain. Somebody who's comfortable with uncertainty, their quality of life is just that much better.
Yes.
They experience much more joy, much more peace, and we're repeating the points that we made before.
Yeah.
So that is the positive side of this. So the quality of your life across all aspects of your life will just improve. But I have this tool to pull me back towards a state of awareness. I'm like, this is just life.
Yeah.
3 days out of 10, Monday comes around, Tuesday, Wednesday, I come home after work, and my wife is in a great mood, and all is well. And the 4th day, nothing's changed. I still went to the same work, still do the same thing, and I come back, she's in a foul mood. I'm like, oh, I cannot, predict people.
Yeah, you stop trying to do things to make a mood predictable.
Yes.
You can just take
Yeah.
it as it is and treat it
As it comes, you respond appropriately.
Yes.
And so the quality of my life will be increased in that way. Yeah.
First off, I'm generally, by personality, I lean toward uncertainty. Some will say too far toward uncertainty, to the way that it's not. It has hurt me in the past in different areas of my life, right? But understanding this, that I have this need, helped me discover, for example, that maybe I should tune in for certainty in certain area. I never knew that. I was like, how can I make this more predictable? Let's say we need to go to a trip to Hawaii, for example. Left to my all devices, the trip I want to do is this: money in my pocket, ticket to Hawaii, we fly. right? Which is crazy in retrospect. So that was my default, you know. And it taught me that, okay, Christian, you know yourself now. You're detected that you're in a certain guy, and this can cause discomfort in relationships, because understanding behavior is about also interacting with other people. So I will have, let's say, um, my siblings, for example. Ruth knows when we're having a long family trip together, I should not be trusted in planning anything. You know, because other people are gonna go there, they be uncomfortable, they will say, what are we doing next? I say, I don't know. Let's find out. And then, what do you mean? I don't know. We've had a lot of those fights in the past. You know, so that was one adjustment that I made. I was like, oh wow, Christian, not thyself is important, but also uh, making that adjustment, me being unmarried, I realized that for me, dating is interview process. I realized maybe if you are dating you're trying to date, or trying to create yourself a partner in life, you want to ask these questions.
The question about if they're.
Questions about human behavior.
Oh, okay.
I think I want to know: are you a certain person, or are you a full certainty person? I think I know how to deal with you better in that situation. So that all this what we want to talk today, the 6 human behavior, will I be? Do you think people think I'm creepy? Like when you're on the date, you start talking, so there's this thing called 6 human behavior, and you want to talk about it. How do you think that would go?
I mean, interview. I don't know. Like an interview's like a questionnaire. Like you.
Come on now, you know me. I'm
Je
smaller
vois.
than that.
I see. I mean,
Yeah.
it's valuable. Those are things you just get to know about people in general. You know, you cannot. I also believe that you just can't hide your nature for too long. It's too exhausting. It's you are who you are in that sense.
Yes.
And whatever it is, whatever needs that you lean on the most will shine through. I believe that. Even without having to question people much, being around people long enough, you'll just notice that certain people they want to go to the same restaurants, they want to go to the same experiences, or they want to backpack throughout Europe without plane. You know, some people are just wired differently that way.
Yes.
And
I mean,
it shines through.
and also, do you think there is value in selecting somebody who matches you in this area, or is just being foolishness trying to be certain?
So yeah, I don't think we can say for sure if two people are leaning towards certainty if they have a better life experience or not. But we determined that obviously you have to. Life is uncertain. So if you're fully certain, you by yourself are experiencing a lower quality of life.
Yes.
And if both of you are experiencing a lower quality of life, I guess from that perspective, well, this shared misery, I guess, in that way.
That's funny. Man, so let's talk a bit about this tension, because you brought it up already. That exists now between the need that we have. There's a tension. There's a need for. You have a need for humans. We have a need for certainty. A
Yeah.
need for certainty. So, what is the best way to deal with that tension as a human being, according to you? Like, there are areas of our life when we want absolute certainty, and
Yeah.
areas of our life where we want a lack of we want the most variety. So there is clearly these needs that we have, human beings, especially a need that are actually opposite to each other. It's like the need of being thirsty and the need of being drinking at the same time that we have. Don't you think that there is some tension there in needing both?
This light that I'm looking at right now,
Yes.
that we're using to illuminate this room, it goes from 0 to 100. 0 being complete darkness, and
Yes.
100 being complete illumination. If I set it to 80, I don't perceive that to be a conflict between brightness and darkness, if that makes sense.
So basically you're saying find the middle, the middle point.
No, what I'm saying is, because you asked me how do we deal with that dichotomy, basically, if I understood you correctly. So to me, there is no dichotomy. You have this, I'm going to oversimplify this. Let's say on one side is certainty, on the other side is uncertainty.
Yes.
And it's graduated from, like a football field, from a 1 yard to 100. So you have all these graduations. And on the 100-yard line, you have certainty, and then on the other side you have uncertainty. For example, if somebody's standing, 20 away from one end, if I'm standing there, that is where I'm living. I'm not feeling tension. Let's say this is certainties on this side, and if I'm standing really close to it, it means that I just prefer to know most things are going to be how they're going to be. That's just who I am. There's no tension
Okay.
there. And if on the other side, I want things to be uncertain mostly.
Yes. Okay. So now, there is. I guess I did not go and I did not go deep enough, a step further enough.
Okay.
So here was my question. Really, is that I've never heard this concept before. Okay. And today I hear about this contest, and I can unequivocally say, most people can say immediately that I'm a certain person.
Okay.
Right? I'm too certain. But then, after observing my life and seeing what my life is, because I'm a very certain person, the decisions I make, I know that I could stand to be more uncertain, to lean more, to bring the down, basically.
Okay.
And that is where the tension comes from. Is from the having to stretch myself outside of my comfort zone. So almost like I want to be by nature a inside pet, but to have sunlight, I have to go outside. So the tension comes from not letting myself reverting to my default every time pressure appear.
Okay.
Because for this information to be useful, for a person, for example, who is linked too much to uncertainty, for this to be useful to them, right? It would be it's a way for me to make an adjustment in life. Because I've discovered I'm leaning too much to uncertainty, and it's not serving my life well. So what I need to do is adopt a bit of uncertainty in my life, at least a certain level, so that this desire that I have to be too certain, this need for certainty, does not end the quality of my life.
Okay.
So my question is, what is the best way to approach that tension?
If I'm talking to somebody like that who
Yeah.
is sensing, okay, where do I know that I'm too certain?
Yes.
Or am I too uncertain? And all these things. To me, because I don't believe that there is a sweet spot somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't believe so, right? This really is more about judgment and attachment. Meaning, if you like to sit in a certain spot at church, for example,
Yeah.
this is my spot, go to church, find your spot. But if your spot is taken, sit somewhere else. Let it be that way. And understand that, well, my life still will go on. So go for the things that you want. Go for the things that you want. But life, you remember, because this conversation is informing you that life is uncertain. You will not get everything that you want all the time. But of course, go for what you want. I always want my tea to be at this particular temperature, and this is my bed sheet to be this particular way.
Yes.
Go for it. But also now the little twist that you're adding to your paradigm, this is what I would tell them, is it will not always be like this. And those days that it's not like that, go with the flow. Do your best to enjoy it. Do your best to be present, to enjoy life. Do whatever you came to do, even sitting from a different place at church. And next week, come back, find your spot. If that right there in your soul, it gives you some sort of satisfaction and joy,
Yes.
to go for specific things, go. I don't see anything wrong with that. Go for the specific things that you want. But those days that they're not available because they will not always be available, life goes on.
Here is the stress that I want to discuss. Is discovering that I have a tendency, a zero, right? A preset.
Okay.
That puts me in a position that causes me to take certain decisions, right? And now I've determined that looking at the past decisions I've made based on that preset, they're not leading to a life that I truly desire. So I now have a natural preset that doesn't fully serve me. It's very simple. You can
Okay.
adjust. But for the things in life that actually matter, that actually affect a lot of areas of your life, like the job you're gonna be at, and the person you're gonna marry if you wanna get married, or major decisions, there's a problem, is that we tend to return to our zeros. The problem with this is when we return to our zeros, then we are making the decision that in the long term don't serve us. That when we look back, we regret. We say, I should have made a different decision. So my question to you is, what can we do to make this information useful? Now I know that when the rubber hit the road, I'm making decisions that are too tailored to my need for certainty, that the result is a life that is unsatisfactory. What can I do to make sure that basically I can use this information usefully in those big decisions, practically?
So you get to a point where, okay, you see there's a pattern. You make new connections or new friends, and it seems like you're going to grow into closer intimacy as time goes on, but you seem to be ghosted. Or dating, maybe. Let's say you're dating online. What is that thing online when you date online? I guess online dating is what they call it. You go on a few dates, but you never go past date number 2, number 3. That's it. That's it 3. Yeah. How come after the second date or the third date, I'm always dumped? I know I never hear from that person. Okay. Let's say that behavior is continuing. And now you go back to blank sheet of paper. You start to wonder, okay, what is it about my behavior? What is it about me that I'm doing that is pushing people away? So are you asking me if such a person coming to realize that, let's say they can identify their behavior, what it is. They can identify it. And it's the same repeating behavior. So there's that certainty there. You're asking me, how does a person like that change their behavior so that they have a better chance?
Yeah, okay. Wow. I'm not even asking about behavior at all. I'm asking about the need of certainty and its effect. Right?
Yeah.
A person who have a need for certainty, they've had it their entire life. There might not be a way of this principle.
Yes.
So now we just expose them to the principle of the need of certainty and uncertainty. Is it possible to do things or make a choice to change for being a person who is completely driven by certainty and to mellow down a bit toward uncertainty? Because if the answer is no, why is this information useful? And if the answer is yes, how? Because I don't see how.
The answer is clearly yes. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any point to this.
Yes. So the question is the how.
The how, I don't know that I have an all-consuming, all-satisfying how, but there is no other way to learn new things or to experience new things but to try. To try and then to compare the results. And I'm a big believer in data and feedback as it comes back to you. Having that willingness to be uncomfortable, stepping out of your comfort zone, as we had a conversation about that recently. So in the beginning, just like any other skill that you learn, it's very intentional, it's very mechanical, if I can put it that way. And you set yourself, I don't know how you function. For me, for example, I would tell myself, you know what, I tend to plan. This was me. I was really, as I said earlier, I was really trying to plan every 15 minutes of my day. So
Madness.
That was born out of a need for certainty in that way. In my time, I'm certain that I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Okay. I keep getting disappointed. I keep frustrating my wife because, okay, babe, this is not time for this. This is time for X. Okay. I keep getting that bad feedback over and over and over again. I'd be a fool to continue just doing this because my results are not, I'm not getting a good return on my investment, a good, feedback. In that case, do I have any other option but to seek better counsel and to try something different? How you obtain a different thing, you can come from within you. It can come from counsel you get from your friends, asking people, okay, I've been doing this. Okay, what can I do? What can I try differently to change? Okay, let's say you have one tip. Just start trying it. And accept in the beginning that I'm going to be uncomfortable. Well, for me, for example, what if I stopped trying to really try to manage every 15 minutes? What if I were to succumb to the notion of, you know what, I have these main goals. Let me accomplish these main goals. I do that for a week because I assess myself on a weekly basis. Was I still productive? Was I still pleasant to the people around me? Did I cause less conflict? And if the answer is yes, and for the same period of time, I have new data. And if you're getting good feedback, it's hard to go against good feedback.
So run an experiment.
So to me, because we're constantly running experiments, we're constantly trying different things.
Yeah. Strangely enough, I'm not satisfied with that, and I don't know the answer yet. So I'll be keep thinking about that. You guys let us know what you think about best position in this, or what you think about it. For me, I am, I guess I would say undecided and unready about that, but we need to move on. Okay, so that were the two first needs, the need for certainty and certainty. So there's the third need, the need for significance. Need for significance.
The need for significance. This one is it hits close to home. When I first learned about the 6 human needs in this framework, this one really, 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 it resonated with me. It resonated with me. Slight tangent here is, before I did that, it must have been after, I also encountered something called an Enneagram. That could be useful for you. This is a free tip right here. This one's free.
All of them are free.
It aligned. It further explained to me why I'm somebody who leans a lot on this one, or leaned a lot, or still do, I guess, on the need for significance. It's just the need to feel important, the need to feel like I'm useful, that I'm respected, and I make a difference in that way. Just that need to know that my presence makes a difference. That's the way that I understand it. That I'm significant when I enter a room, that my opinion is valuable, that I've arranged things around me, I've added enough value to people's lives to know that, okay, Benny is not just a random fool who does not have anything positive to add to this. So I'm significant in that way. So this one, plain and simple, the way that I understand it, is a need for you to feel important.
I guess it could be the same way, but I'll put it differently. Maybe the way I put it will make it different. For me, the need for significance is the need to be an individual. I don't want to be lumped into the sheep. If you're a group of sheep, I want to be the black sheep. In a way.
You need to stand out, to be set apart.
Yes, I want to be set apart. I want to be an individual. You know,
whether
you value it, it doesn't have to be valued in all rooms, because it's very strange. I'm doing a self-assessment right here. Yes, I'm doing this. So it just has to be clear that I am me, and it's okay to be me. And also that me is not everybody.
We watch a lot of sports, and the question that I've always wondered, it ties to this, is you will see players on a basketball team or football team or something like that. Basketball is, let's choose basketball. You have a player who tells you, I don't care if I play or not. I just want to know the team won. I've never, in this case, or I don't care about my role. Obviously, you want to do something, but your role could be to be the one who just goes in there and racks up files. I don't want to get into sports analogy because some of you may not understand this. Or I want to be the person on the team who is the enforcer. I don't really add too much technically to the game, but if you mess with my teammates, I'm the one who's going to come at you, and that is my role.
Yes.
And my role is contributing to winning. So, insignificant or significant, as insignificant or significant as your role may be to you, what matters most is just the team wins. Some people claim to be that, and I have to admit, and this is maybe a vulnerable thing, I want to know that that I'm indispensable in that way. That my role is something without which the team would not be able to be the team, because I'm a key piece, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
So that explains almost my perception of this need for significance. It's not that I want the cameras on me. I don't want things like that.
That is a great example, because it helps me show the nuance between you and I in that area.
Yeah. So for me to just make it clear.
Yes.
For me, I want to always be a part of a group where I am needed. If I'm not needed, let me When we find a place where I
No,
am needed.
I fully agree with you. That is
So-
actually so important to me as well.
Yeah.
That sometimes I feel the need to quit such activities.
Yeah. Like,
Remember?
actually, like you talk about a church and
Yes.
all that. You know?
I mean, I do sing at church, but I just felt that I wasn't needed here.
If I'm not here,
If I'm not here or I'm not present, there is no change. There is
Yes.
nothing happens. So to give you the difference between you and I, in my view, the nuance that your example did a great job of showing. Me, actually, I don't mind being the guy that fouls out, that is in there for fouls. I don't mind being what is if you know basketball, you know about Rodman. Rodman came in. He came in for rebounds, and you knew at the end of the day, we look at the play sheet. If Rodman did not get 20 rebounds, we lost. You know what I mean?
I see.
If I'm there, I'm the best fouler in the league. That I go in, I will foul Shaq 6 times, he will miss many shots, and the referee will not see it because I'm the best at fouling. I don't mind being the fouling person. You know, as long as I know that at the end of the day, on that paper, my fouling did its job. You know, that's what I need that. So the need for significance. And now the question: is this need affect our culture?
Our culture.
Yes, and before to put it together, because I'm just going to move us along a little bit faster, I want to put it in contrast to the other need, the need for love, and the need for love and connection, because the same way that certainty and certainty are opposite or side of the seesaw, it seems to me somehow, which I see even less in this side, for me personally, as I was having this, the need for significance is on the other side of the love and connection. I struggle to understand that part. I don't know why, but this need, I think, is a need that is more pronounced in young men, in general, a lot more pronounced in men because of societal pressure.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
Yes, and I wanted to approach that a bit to see if we can find something useful that can improve the life of people whose primary need is significance. So they can get the fullness of life. So don't miss out on the important things of life, which turns out could be the need for love and connection. The need for love and connection, that is almost obvious. Everybody, or most people.
So that would be the fourth need.
Yeah, the fourth need.
Okay.
Yes. So that's why I'm lumping it together, because
Okay.
significance is a bit more complex to work into the other ones. But love and connection, everybody knows that. We need to love somebody, to be loved, to be connected to people.
I agree, and this is, I think it's partly the reason why also I tend to lean towards significance, or I've leaned towards that as I came to understand this framework. Society in which we live, or most human societies have men as providers. That you're the one who has to go against the world, and you're the one who has to pull your family, to put your family on your shoulders, and all that. So it makes sense that as men look around on YouTube and see other men who are flaunting their goods, and there seems to be, at least from a perception standpoint, there seems to be a lot more respect, admiration, and just value that goes to the way of all the men who have achieved a lot. The men who are able to buy their moms a house, buy their moms a car, and to travel around the world, and to paint that picture of, I figured it out, I'm living the life that you want to live. Yeah. So from that perspective, the need for significance is being forced upon the people. And my advice to them would be, as we establish the seesaw as well, that you have on one side significance, which sets you apart, right? Because you want to be significant, you want to be an individual, and you have love and connection, whereby
it requires
you want to be connected to people,
part of something. So
from that perspective, there's that dichotomy.
Yes.
It's because they're opposed. It makes sense to conclude that you cannot seek to be joined to people by being different. So you cannot have both at the same time. Here I am, I'm striving to be so significant, so different, so viewed as somebody set apart, and at the same time, you also want to be part of a group, part of of relationships
Yeah.
and be loved. So that is where the nuance is drawn. I also agree that the seesaw is better established to me for certainty and uncertainty, but I
Yeah.
understand this one as well. So what I would tell people, about this lie that they've been sold. Number one, the people that society seems to put on the pedestal, that the internet and the social medias of the world, all that is fake. I think by now, most of us kind of know that, have that notion that you're seeing somebody's highlights and you're seeing a really well crafted and designed life that they're showing you.
Yes.
Knowing that every part of that video, every frame of it has been
Curated.
calculated perfectly to achieve a certain end. And when the camera goes off, I promise you, the people who seem to be so happy in the Maldives and surrounded by women and all this, that is not the standard that they live. That much, unfortunately, until you get into those places, you will not really understand it. And I haven't gone to those places yet either, but that need to compare is not there anymore, by learning all these concepts that we're sharing with you. But what I would tell the person is basically, it's all fake. You're comparing your life, your values, or you're wasting your life, literally, trying to pursue something that's not even real. We all need to have a certain, as we said, all the needs we have them in some capacity. But if you find yourself that all your dreams, all your ambitions are shaped around a certain person or a certain idea of what a man should be or a woman should be, those ideas have been carefully crafted by other entities that are not you and not exactly for your good.
What I see here is, for example, if you're ambitious and you want to be as significant as possible, you have the choice way to go for it, all the way. That's number one, my view. If you want to do anything, you have the choice way, the ability, go for it. Okay, that's good, and I'm going for mine. All right. So, what I find this to be dangerous is when a lot of young men, a lot of young people are being taught that to use significance as a vehicle to obtain love and connection. That is why I see the danger. Because you can walk through significant all you want, but if that is what you're using as a vehicle to love and connection, you're going to attract people that don't care about love and connection. You attract people that want to use you. Because by nature, setting yourself apart is not something that brings on the communal relationship that is love and connection. So number one thing is be as significant as you want in those areas when it comes to chasing material success or career success or even talent success. Okay, do that because you want to do it for yourself, but make sure that it is different. It is not the driver you use. It is not the monetary value of exchange you put on the marketplace to receive love and connection. If you want to receive love and connection, give love and connection. And in a way, keep them separate. Be significant, but if you want truly somebody who will love you and connect with you, don't give them the stuff. Give them that. And if they don't want that, and they only want the stuff, maybe you shouldn't be with them. So that's my view of that.
It doesn't take long to realize that knowing something or having an intellectual understanding of something does not mean that you live by it. Do you know it's good for you? For example, here, for me,
God knows.
there is a particular vehicle that my mother has always wanted. She's talked about that for a long time. And I knew that I wanted to become significant enough
Yeah.
to be able to be the one who, bought the car, put a bow around it, brought mom outside. Not for the cameras to be on me or anything like that, not at all. But I guess in the beginning I thought that is the way my mom needed.
Yeah.
That is something that would buy me more love from her. And saying like that sounds weird, but that's really what it is. If we're going to call a spade, I'm like, wow, how crazy would it be that, her son got her that? Wouldn't she love me more? Wouldn't she extend more love towards me? But only to realize that she already loves me as much as she can. She's my mother. Another car, another house, another this will really not move the needle that much.
Make no difference.
So that that is also maybe the last thing that I want to say on this one is
Yeah.
people who love you already love you, and
Yeah.
you already are complete in that way. And
Yes.
going from outside of you to get more stuff to buy people's love, that is such a clever trick. And even I am also working myself out of that thinking. I've made some progress, but I can see myself still leaning towards some of those patterns. Man, you know, how crazy was my relationship with my father when I'm able to take him to all the tennis. My father is a diehard tennis fan. How crazy would things be when I'm able to get into the biggest tennis competitions? And I can picture him and me sitting next to each other, laughing and dressing all white at Wimbledon in London. I'm like, man, are you sure that this is... How silly would it be that is what unlocks an intimacy with your father?
Yes, preach.
You know?
Because, see, listen, a few years ago, it was the time I was learning this for the first time. I made a decision that has changed my life for the better in that area. I just realized that, obviously, I feel like I owe a debt to my parent for putting me in position to have the life that I have. Right? Most children do.
Yeah.
And most parents do it because that's what they want to do. And growing up in an African family, there is this almost in cultural separation between the adult and the children. The parents are the monarchs that should be approached with reverence and patience. That's it is good in some way, in some areas, but something that it does really, it prevents parents to have a certain type of relationship with their children, right? Because I don't care who you are, it's a king. You don't just go there and have all sort of relationship with your king, with a king. So that mentality, that reverence, that is forced into by our culture to us, toward our parents, causes almost a rift between parents, and almost weirdly enough, I'm going to use the word poison what relationships could be, right? So I started doing something, because like you, I dream to do anything I can for my mother.
Yeah.
And I realized that everything I do for my mother, if I do it for her, she is filled overjoyed. She goes and shows a friend, no matter how small. She shows a friend, she's so happy. You see this piece of clothing, my son got it for me. It becomes a favorite. So I was thinking to myself, how much will it be when I do the big things? And I made a decision a few years ago that every single Sunday I would just call my parents, mom and dad, and just talk to them. And I find out our relationship transformed, because it was now two adults talking, trying to build a relationship, getting to know each other. I started discovering my father as the fun and hilarious person that a friend used to say he's always been, because I did not see it. To me, my father was an authority that guides me into being a person. That's what he was, and that's the role he was playing. But now I'm a grown-up. The nature of our relationship is changed. It looks at me differently. At the beginning, there was still that barrier, coldness, but now we started joking and talking. So I've learned that to develop connection, love and connection with my parents, all I had to do was just give them that gift of time. I call them every Sunday, and I just discipline myself to say, I'm going to let the conversation go until they're satisfied. And then I'm going to do everything else after. To this day, I still practice that as much as I can. And our relationship changed. At the beginning, it was like, hi, mom, how are you doing? How is the week? Okay. And then we have nothing to say. And then we're looking at each other, it's a bit uncomfortable, But eventually, the conversation grew. Dad started talking to me. So, what is he going to do with you with girls? That is strange. African father don't talk about that. Are you dating? And are you ready to date? Things like that. So that the nature of the conversation, even the comfort of the conversation changed. So now I know that really there is nothing I can do more than just this phone call for the rest of my life. Time with them. There is nothing I can give them. No plane, no private flights, no vacation I can give them. That would be more worth for them than our Sunday conversation. They love it so much they're trying to implement it with the other kids, but the other kids, they're doing their thing. And for that, and that was life changing for me. So I know exactly what kind of conversation I want to foster with my kids because of that. But that was a very good point. Truth is, I believe that mishandling the relationship between the need for significance and the need for love and connection is at the source of a lot of pain for a lot of people, because it drives them into relationships that are mutually unsatisfactory. Because if you are flaunting your significance, meaning what you can do and achieve, which gives you status, and is the basis by which you select a mate, that mate is with you because potentially, let's say, they have status from you. They are the kind of man that does that. So let's say you're a professional athlete, famous. What's happened to your relationship when you retire? And you're not professional, are this famous anymore? So a lot of relationship breaks, a lot of pain, a lot of even brotherly relationships. I found out that at the end of the day, even between siblings, is a relationship. At times, it becomes a relationship about being used or wanting to be used or using the other siblings in a way. I want to be, for example, me. I dream to be the providing sibling. Just my personality gauge, nothing is more important for me than the safety of my siblings. A lot of the things that I do, not just my siblings, I found out with my tribe, my people. It's one of my highest value. I want them to get what they want, the life they want. I feel responsible for that. I feel a need to protect them that is what can I say, is unreasonable. And I know it's unreasonable, but it's just there. You know what I mean? And even with my siblings, I mean, I don't have the same relationship with all my siblings, for example. They're different people. But I'm realizing that, for example, for my little brother, I feel the need to be a guide. Instead of just being there for him as a brother. Because he's much younger than me, and I'm not interested in him that much, in what he's doing, or be a good kid. But what I can make sure is that if I did mistakes in the past, let me make sure you don't make them. And if I've learned something that will make you jump the line, let me give it to you. And that became the nature of the relationship. And the kid is way too similar to me in a way that causes friction. You know what I mean? So I guess what he needs is just the same exercise that I did with my parents. And my sister Ruth, we have a different relationship. I give her my favorite person in the world because of not because of me, all because of her, or the kind of person she is. So manage the need for significance. Guys, this conversation has been longer than we thought. And we're going to stop here. We're going to continue it on a different time. So at this point, let's just recap what we talked about and maybe close out this conversation. And we will jump into the other two needs later because they're different type of needs. The first four needs are classified as the needs of the ego. And the other two needs are classified as a different type of needs. I even don't know which word to choose, but I think we can decide together next time. But today, we started our conversation on human behavior. We approached the discussion of the 6 needs, correct? We talked about the 4 first needs. The first need was the need for certainty. The second was need for uncertainty. The third was need for significance. And the fourth, the need for love and connection.
Right.
And we went into them. We discussed how they affect our life. We discussed how they affect the way we view life. And also, we talked a bit about what knowing this can do to a person's life. How it can affect it positively, or even not knowing how it's affecting it negatively. So here we are, people. It's time for us to say goodbye, or we're going to have it too long of a video and you are not going to want to watch it. You know what I mean? We can do that. But as always, I'm pleading with you guys. We need your help. We need you to subscribe. We need you to like. We need you to comment, because that is the only way we can grow our audience. And with that growth will come a better product, because we'll have the ability to and the leverage to invite much better thinkers than us. Who knows? Maybe someday we are sitting here and on the third chair is Peter Sage. You know, that would be crazy. That would be a magic moment. You know, we'll have to dig up this video and bring it up. But you know, things like that. So we need your help for that. And what you need to do to help us, to do good for us, it costs you nothing. Like, subscribe, and comment. Until we see you again.